A former British government employee has given evidence to a COVID inquiry. Helen MacNamara said former Prime Minister Boris Johnson had a bullish attitude in the early days of the pandemic and thought the UK would sail through.
Each of those.
Boris Johnson at the start of March 2020.
We do have a great plan, a plan to tackle the spread of coronavirus.
Full of confidence, we heard today it was dangerously misplaced. Helen MacNamara was the second most senior official in government. She told how Johnson and his team thought Britain would sail through the impending crisis.
And nothing but the truth. The sort of unbelievably bullish, we're going to be great at everything approach is not a smart mentality to have inside a government meeting.
COVID had by then ripped through northern Italy, pushing its hospitals to breaking point.
If we could just tell people what the right and kind and proper thing to do is, people would do that. And sitting there and saying it was great and sort of laughing at the Italians was just, it just felt completely, well, it felt how it sounds.
Eventually, she went into the Prime Minister's office and delivered this message, read by the inquiry's lawyer.
I have come through here to the Prime Minister's office to tell you all, I think we're absolutely I think this country is heading for a disaster.
As Britain went into lockdown, she claims the Health Secretary wasn't telling the truth. We heard about a sexist, macho culture in Boris Johnson's government, and this is one of the most senior officials saying it had huge implications. Women, she said, were not listened to or respected, and there was detachment at the top of government from the reality of many people's lives. This is an email Helen MacNamara sent in April 2020, telling female colleagues the issues she thinks weren't considered. Abortion, domestic abuse, families, fertility treatment, and the fact PPE did not fit women.
Women whose job it was to do something were not able to do their jobs properly because they weren't having the space or being asked the right questions or being treated with the respect that they would do.
She was fined for attending a gathering at the Cabinet Office during the pandemic and said it shouldn't have happened, but described a culture in which hundreds of ministers and officials broke the rules. By winter, COVID was again soaring. Christmas celebrations cancelled at the very last minute. Helen MacNamara left government shortly afterwards. Tamara Cohen, Sky News.